I'm Mantequilla. Hello. Last time, I skipped an achievement with Tony, and I said I was going to go back to my save point that I started with, answer everything I thought, answer everything the same, play the game the same way, but do the get the achievement where I help Tony. So instead of asking him a different question, I showed him how something worked, and then I showed him how something else worked, and he had a big smile, and I got the you fixed Tony, and one of his cracks disappeared off of his face. You fixed Tony achievement. When I was speeding through the conversation with her friend that we found out is shallow, I thought I was giving the same answers, but I think while skipping, I gave a different answer. So we didn't get the achievement that I got. I have it on Steam. We didn't get the achievement I got where she told us everything. So in game, we now haven't had we got everything out of her conversation, but it pretty much went the same. We just didn't get every single thing that she told us. So that's the only thing that's different, but I got the Tony achievement. So yay. If you're watching on YouTube, I will snip, edit in right here. Show why Tony needs to do it. Tony, don't you want to drink some water? Water, yes. But it won't taste good mixed with oil. Yes, I can remove the oil. I made you some water too, Iris. Tony, how did you do that? This is drinking water. Iris? I used an example to explain. I think it works better for Tony. Yes, oily water doesn't taste good, so I remove the oil. Very logical. As a matter of fact, very smart too. Thank you, Iris. Let's move on to the next exercise. Let me just get rid of the glasses. Medical gloves, in fact. I'm going to ask you to create one of them. I'll give it a try, but I've got almost no energy left. Iris, that should be enough for you today. Are you feeling all right? I'm fine. Either way, there's some sweet tea on the bus. You sit here for a while. Fatigue sometimes arrives with a delay. Your turn now, Tony. Pay close attention. The gloves are blue, thick and tight. And light. You need to make one of these. Yes. This is odd. What's wrong? It's not flexible with no stretch at all. I did not even think it was possible. Let me see. You're right, Tony, it doesn't stretch. Yes, it probably doesn't. Dora, another word, please. Show why Tony needs to do it. Where did Takeo place those glasses of water? Ah, there. Tony, try putting your glove on. I'll be right back. That's it. Can't fit it any further. It's all right. Now give me your hand. It's wet. Yeah, I like it this way. And we will show it to him. Tony, why did you stick your hand in the glass? It doesn't get wet this way. Dora, his hand is inside the glove and inside a glass of water. Iris, is it again one of your... Tony, can I see the glove? Dora, it stretches. I've no idea why this has worked. Fine, we better move on. Iris, thank you. Tony, great job. Iris showed me. Now I know it can get wet or not get wet. Oh, and a glove for not getting wet. Ah, it's itching again. Whoa, Tony, you have... Iris, please say no more. Dora, have a look. Dora, do you want to try creating anything else? Yes. Iris, you're a good influence on him, especially when you don't tell Tony that his cracks are closing. Aha. And I've got my achievement. You're the reason Tony gets better. Here's it. And now, snip, 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 snip. I'm back. We're going to continue. I'm professional. I'm a professional. Hello, Topanga. Say hello. Tell him I'm professional. Yeah, tell him. Sorry, I just muted to have a good hard cough. Yeah, the cough is still present. I have ginger beer. This may help with the cough. It may not do bugger all. If it does bugger all, I've got some Army and Navy lozenges. But we're jumping in. Okay. Hold on. Maybe I need to load the game. After replaying day 11, this is the one we want. The fourth. Yeah, this is the one we want. Okay. So how are you? Apparently, I was allowed to sleep in. Normally, if someone is kind enough to let you sleep, you'd consider them a humanist. However, when your dreams are an endless nightmare, you start hoping for a villain shouting, "Get up," right at the break of dawn. I'm afraid I'll have to pluck up the courage and ask Dora to defect to the dark side. I will most likely not enjoy it and start hoping for more sleep, but at least my discontent with reality can be more varied. Are you up already? Dora's just sent me to get you. Good morning. Morning. Let's go. Have I missed all the best stuff? No, of course not. Practitioners have just completed all the final checks on the bridge. It's very cunning, I must say. You can configure literally anything for your current needs, including the height of the top beams and the side safety grids. My inner definition of the word bridge has just ouched. You're absolutely right. It would make more sense to call it a telescopic structure designed for gradual connection of a stabilised land terra incognita. Blah, blah, blah. But that's too long. And it is very difficult to say, third. How about an acronym? Something cute and modest. Say, Tsuvergondesatit? Sure you got all the letters right? T for telescopic, S for structure, D for designed, F for, and what was G again? G for gradual, C for connection, O for of, S for stabilized, L for land, and A for and, T for terra, and I for incognita. Brilliant. I'm used to memorizing others' words. Serena practiced all the time back then. Never mind. So what's going on there now the bridge is all checked? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to remind you of your past. I believe they were going to put their gear on. Come. Oh my God. Iris too is like, why isn't she flirting with this one? Why isn't she flirting with either of these? Why is she flirting and obsessed with the skinny little nut job? Because skinny nut jobs make life worth living. Those, they're 10 a penny. Especially in games. No. You're so easy to impress. Just you look at them. They oxidize like crazy, so it's best to limit their contact with air as much as you can. Those green spots will get you anyway, and trust me, they're much worse than overly keen girlfriends. Roy, what's with her face, bro? Ah, a gorgeous woman has seen you half naked. Hey, Iris, want some coffee? Hey there, I'd love some. By the way, got anything to say to us? Ask about Dora. Oh yes, I'd like to say something. Ask even. Where's Dora? This coffee is great, by the way, thanks. First, you tell us you came here looking for your curator, and the next thing we know, we're drowning in verbal formalities with no implicit flirtation whatsoever. In case you missed it, this game is determined to make me want one of those two guys. This game is determined I am flustered for those two guys. When Tony appears, you will understand. This is endlessly sad, but I guess there's no obvious remedy. What a cruel world. Dora's inside the bus. Or not anymore. On the roof, third row, second spot from the top. The usual, Johnny. Your firm habits do you credit. Firm, eh? I'd never imagined I would hear something like that from you, my lady. Now, what certainly does not give you credit is your innuendos. Largely, you're just mental. And firm. Snickers. Very funny. Right, no time to waste. Good morning, Iris. Straight to the point. I've already helped 4 practitioners pack into their gear and my fingers hurt. I'd like to refrain from doing that in the next 2 hours. Maximilian has been lugging boxes from early in the morning, and let's just say manual dexterity is not his forte, so it's your and third's turn. Of course, how can we help exactly? Roy and Johnny are the only 2 left. Pick who helps whom gear up and get to it. Iris, it probably makes sense for you to pick, I guess. Good guess. Makes total sense if she gets to pick. See, it thinks the object of the game is choosing between these two. Neither. Tony. Help me. I will help Tony put his gear on. I want to see Tony with his shirt off and all those cracks all over. Iris, if you don't want to, we'll come up with something else. While hating you a tiny bit all along, though. Bro. Just a very tiny bit, Iris. What do you say? Offer to help otherwise. I'm not going to help you. I can replace Maximilian and lug around a few boxes, but I'm not going to help anyone get dressed. Sorry, Dora. Seriously? You cheeky minx, you can watch half-naked men all day, can't you? See, I don't think many people make that decision. I think you're supposed to be thirsting over them. I don't give a fuck. You do remember I'm a part of you, don't you? Uh-huh. Okay, in that case, we are going to leave it up to Johnny to deal with the problems. I don't think that... And I think Iris is great. I mean, she's this great. What? Why? A lot of people of the opposite sex only think about themselves. They don't give a damn if you're comfortable next to someone else's half-naked body or not. And they don't give a damn if you really couldn't care less about sex and you hate any mention of it. I was wrong to think this would be boring. Maximilian, you're exaggerating. There's no... Iris probably sees this in a different light. And she... Will you just let me finish? Iris, I thought you were just like everyone else, but you went and showed them. You've defended your boundaries and you've told them in their faces that you'd rather lug boxes around than stay on this... in this conversation. You're great, honesty. I've got Maximilian to like me by not lusting after the 2 guys I'm supposed to lust after. ... Thanks. Damn, Max, it's good that I don't have to call you by your monstrously long name in my head. So then, Max, I don't think that anyone here needed to hear all that you've just said, and I've no idea what to say or do next. Glorious. Dude, I'm almost caught up on the epic scale of this situation, but how does Dora fit into your story exactly? It was her who offered Iris to help us, not me or Roy. In case you haven't noticed, she's the same sex as Iris. Are you saying she doesn't think about... That's enough. Iris, Max, camp now. You'll be helping with breakfast later. Roy, third, Johnny, I believe you'll figure this out between the three of you. Just give me a moment. Nope, Dora, we won't. Darling, you've taken on responsibility of helping practitioners with their gear. You either stick to it and deliver on time, or this will be the last time we're on such a romantic cruise together. Oh. Excellent, I'll help Roy then. The rest of you do as I said, now. It's such a pleasure to be working with you. Have I mentioned that before? Bro, drop it. Let's go. I don't think we should annoy her any further, but you're still right, you know. I thought I was the only one. Does it have to do with your prototype too? Mine was... He didn't just go after different women. I think he was actually fully bonkers. Literally obsessed, you know, like a disease. I'm experiencing an acute case of deja vu. Chatting with Suze normally goes somewhere like this. Will you let him pour his heart out? It'll be quicker than arguing with him, although it seems like everyone knows Maximilian's dark secret now. The main questions are, what do I do, should I even, and the most important one, why me? I think he's struggling for real. It's not like I disagree. Alright, let's hear him out. And with those two right in front of the mirror, two girls, I felt so disgusted, and I couldn't even close my eyes. I was sick with nausea for the whole night after that. I really thought I'd never feel better. I even wanted to never get better, wanted it to end for good. You see, I do like sports, all the weights and cardio, you know. I like it when you can do more than before because you've worked hard for it. And he literally just did everything to pull those fitness babes and sleep with them. He even had an app on his phone where he'd mark things like who he had slept with and when, and he rated them, you know, stars and all. And mirrors everywhere so that he could see every moment, and I'd have to reflect all the time. Apparently I owe Serena a big one for not having sex in front of the mirror fetishes. She doesn't even have a mirror in her bedroom. Didn't have. So you cannot believe that it's all over now? You don't feel safe here? Sometimes I dream about... I understand. I first thought I was gay or something. I mean, maybe it was so bad because he was only into women, but I want to stay away from others. Not touching anyone, no one touching me, but there's no avoiding it. I like him. Max is asexual. And you just went and refused to dress anyone right in front of them all. And it's like, knowing that I'm not the only one, it means a lot. I understand that this had nothing to do with me, but it made me feel better. Thank you, Iris. I'm sorry it had to be like this with your prototype. You can now finally decide for yourself. Despite your night dreams and your past, your prototype can no longer affect your life. Sorry. I don't feel like he cannot affect me anymore. If Dora asked you to help a female practitioner get dressed, what would you do? Well, smash my fist on a rock, as if by accident, but bad enough to injure my hand. Then I wouldn't have to help. But what's wrong with my way? Just saying no. Well, you see, she's going to ask, why not Maximilian? And what? What do I tell her? I don't like touching other people, Dora? I don't know, it looks kind of not quite like I'm some snowflake. And while all strong on the outside, you're weak inside? Well, yes. I think it simply looks like you don't want to touch other people. And if you offer to do something instead, say lug boxes, attach ropes to the roof, or help out with dinner, it really shouldn't be a problem at all. Really? Let's use my example to figure out if you can be honest about the things you don't want to do. I bet Dora won't bite my head off or run in circles around the camp screaming, Iris is the worst and the weakest of my subjects ever. Everyone has always dressed everyone else. No questions asked. Well, yes, Dora will hardly do anything like that. I think so too. And that means that I can try doing the same thing, right? Oh, I don't know. It's going to be so weird. Or could be good, I suppose. Well, you have an option now. Why not keep that in mind? Aha. Yes, I'll keep it in mind. Looks like he doesn't fully believe what you've been telling him, but he's eager to try. I like how this has played out. You can just say I did quite well. You did very well. Aha. Find out Maximilian's wretched secret. I got an accomplishment. I got an accomplishment I wasn't even going for. Oh, what's that? Apparently I missed an achievement from Max to be happy to find a mouse. I didn't call him a drama queen. That's good. Like there's Tony. There's Tony with the 3 achievements that we got him. You're the reason Tony gets better. Yay, Tony. Okay. I see you two are doing just great after complicating life for everyone. Oh. We did what we believed was the right thing. As in nothing? Brilliant. Now will you be so kind as to go and watch the practitioners work? And don't you give me this look. Put aside your highly spiritual conversation now. Off you go. All right, shall we go, Iris? Uh-huh. Okay, so Johnny is on the very top and I can see Roy on the 2nd level. I'll be rooting for them, or is there something else I'm supposed to do? Apart from the bridge, I cannot help notice the IV lines, the first aid kit and a stretcher at the ready. There's Tony, there's Tony, there's Tony. I'm pointing at Tony with my mouse. I hope we won't be needing any of those. Everyone ready? Uh-huh, so this knock is a yes. I wonder if there's a special knock for no or maybe. 3, 2, 1, let's rock. Normally you'd hear let's go, but Johnny likes this version for some reason. Hey Tony! For some reason, eh? Dora, and what if the prototype of anyone who's currently on the bridge looks into the mirror right now? Such as Roy's prototype. We have safety backers to step in should this happen. So how many practitioners like Roy can be on the bridge at the same time? We've only got 2, Iris. There are those whose prototypes work shifts or just get reflected rarely, and then there are those who fit the practitioner's criteria for expeditions. There aren't many overlaps. That said, technically reflections whose prototypes are still alive are at 0 risk, so it could have made sense to involve them only. But it's not cost effective. Exactly, you cannot just retrieve the gear and other equipment back that easily when unmanned, so we have to compromise. A6, A3, right shoulder. A6 at the top will help A3 below uphold stabilisation. A3 is now Conrad. It's his 2nd expedition only and he's not too experienced yet. Johnny said that newbies were only allowed to stabilise at a safe distance. Yes, this here is very close, nothing major. It's odd that Johnny is here. Why is he rescuing himself if he could put someone else there instead? He could, but Johnny is usually in charge of coordination. His job carries a lot of responsibility. But it's dangerous, no? Don't worry, Maximilian, Chloe is here, so should anything happen to Johnny, she'll replace him. That was clean. Hot stuff. Hooray. Yay. Super clean. Fast and swift. Cool. Can't wait to get over there. Everything seems to have gone well, but Chloe doesn't look too pleased. Maybe she's like Johnny. I mean, she also wanted to be on the bridge. Probably, but it's not her decision. Well, there's an entire city there. A beautiful city. Johnny, come on, tell us where the hot stuff. So childish, honestly. Are we allowed on the other side? I want to go too. Yes, me too. Just as childish, you lot. The practitioners will now check for any risks of buildings collapsing or any other threats. Then we'll go. It shouldn't take that long. Iris, you'll have plenty of time to stare. Come here now. But Mom! So hey, here's your first new land. We've checked it and it's nauseatingly safe. So go on and have fun. Dora will tell you this herself at least a dozen times, but I want to be the first one to say it. Under no circumstances come close to the edge of the void. Johnny, you are not helping. I'm doing my best. Anyway, give us a shout if you find anything awesome. Sacks of diamonds, crude oil, shards of the primary mirror, or an elephant. There are a lot of fresh pastries in the bakery, so as soon as we're done with our reports, I suggest we have ourselves a tea break. I'm in. So we just created a city and a bakery full of fresh bakery goods, but no other people. We're talented. Dora, what is a primary mirror? This is the mirror in which, as it's assumed, you can reflect yourself into the prototype's world. If you find yourself even a small shard, you'll get showered with privileges by the community. But back to business now. Decide what you all want to do here. Dora, I'm sorry, but I'm a little confused. Does the primary mirror exist for real? I said back to business. Enough. Dora, it's okay. The primary mirror is more of a legend as such. There have only been single shards found so far. They reflected something blurry and random at best. Attempts were made to put them together, but to no avail. Moreover, many people died. Oh, I'm sorry, Chen. I didn't know. I said enough. Dora, it's honestly okay. He really didn't know. I'm sensing Dora wanted to protect genders now. A sensitive issue for her? I don't know. Shall we maybe not think about it anymore? No, we cannot not think. Would have been fun though, probably. Dora, do you mind if I ask your group one question? Go on. You know, we always find a lot of different things in new lands. Some can be useful, some could be good for nothing, others are, well, there's no unanimous opinion on them. What do you think? Is it ethical to take personal items that you find with you if they are of no practical value? Say if you find an engraved engagement ring, will you take it? No, the way I see it, we should only take things that are of use to us right now. Specialists from the community will sort out the rest later. Well, a ring with an inscription is a story. If you don't take it with you, it can be lost. I'd take it. Agree with Tony. If I understand correctly, the community specialist that Third mentioned will pick up the ring later anyway, so what does it matter who takes it? Yes, that's what I meant. Not the ring maybe, but in general. Good. Thank you all for the answers. Why did she ask us? Are they gathering stats or is she simply curious? I think we'll have a chance to find out. Alright, so this is sorted. What do you all want to do then? Look for something like curious trinkets? You just want to go sightseeing, don't you? A little, and to make myself useful. Iris, this concerns you too. Stop staring around and give it a thought. Find out what the others want to do. No, I'm going to stay distracted. Or more like, I'll first lay low and find out what the others want to do. I might want to join one of them or avoid another. Both options seem reasonable. I'm going to look for valuable things. There may be first aid kits, tools, or technical devices that we can use. Looks like Maximilian and I are now bound forever until the end of time. Tony? There are many stories hidden around here. I'll go look for them. Join Tony. Tony, do you mind if I join you? Not at all. I'm coming with you. That's settled then. Good. Just make sure you stay away from the edges of the void, please, and give us a shout if you need anything. Good luck and happy treasure hunting. I'm not too sure what it is we might find here apart from the fountain. Cobblestones? Tony, have you spotted anything interesting? Somewhat. And you? Tony, can you fetch the newspaper from the fountain? Yes. Got it. God save the printed media. You usually speak somewhat differently. I heard others say it. God save the Queen. God save the National Bank. God save the sugar prices. Sounds good. I guess one can save printed media too. God save the ones who explain things clearly. Are you going to read now? Right, so part of it is soaked, but the front page is still legible. Disaster. So what's in it? It's just city's mayor's emergency address to the people dated 1958. Singapore. Senor e Signori, the critical event of the past week is undoubtedly another rise in the water levels. I know you are concerned, and I've even heard talks of leaving the city. Let me assure you, the city council has got the entire situation under control, fully and utterly. However, should the irredeemable happen, despite all our forecasts, with the dam on Lago Calmo giving in, we will still have at least 3 hours left to reach the Strada Provincial cable car to ascend to safety. Breaking away from reading, this just doesn't hold water. Or more like, it holds too much water. The paper is soaking wet. Here. Never has water risen this high before. All our newspapers are mentioning it, and it's certainly true. What is also true, however, is that we are still 20 metres away from disaster. An entire 20 metres, just think about it. Even if we could pour all our rivers into one big river, and so on and so forth. I didn't understand a thing. There was a dam next to the city, and apparently it didn't hold. Everything was flooded here. I think it didn't. I wonder if the mayor was in the city when it happened or evacuated in advance. I bet he then addressed the general public with a deeply heartfelt speech about the cruel providence, the blows of fate, and how the city would certainly come around sooner or later. 3 hours should have been enough, though. What was he supposed to do? Not try and calm the citizens down? Depends on the price they paid for it. Maybe the city was rebuilt later. Not here, but someone believed the mayor and made those pastries, and the practitioners have found in the bakery. Iris, is someone that was making pastries then left, but the pastries were left behind anyway. Is it still bad? The pastries will have a chance to fulfill their destiny. Regarding the rest, I suggest that we look around to begin with, and then we'll decide. I'll be looking around then. This fountain has either been renovated or only recently placed here. What have we here? A rather obvious farewell story, a bunch of random subtext and a tablet, I bet. I will multiply the number of those random subtexts substantially. So then. For the citizens of my second home to forever remember me by. I thought they wrote things like that inside books. Turns out it works with fountains too. Will the pastries have words on them as well? We've signed so many things during autograph sessions, but not quite in those words. I'm curious, what does "to forever remember me by" even apply to these days? I sure hope not, otherwise it will mean that those pastries are truly ancient and cannot be eaten. Oh. Ow, there's more. If it weren't for you, I'd never become what I am today, and a piece of me will stay here forever. I wonder which piece was that exactly. Apart from the highly poetic version, there's also another one that's just as intriguing. Iris, what are you even thinking? What a horrible version. Horrible, yes, for everyone. Piece of his soul, maybe? Bravo, Tony. The spiritual version hasn't even crossed my mind. But I found an inscription, G.L. Ferraro. Shame there's not a date to it. So then someone gifted the city a fountain and a piece of themselves, the latter metaphorically most likely, but we don't know for sure. This someone must have taken all the other pieces with them. What if G.L. Ferraro gifted more things? Then we'll know more. Yes, and left many more pieces behind too. They must have been big-hearted enough to afford such manipulations with the soul. Sounds familiar to me. What? Reminds me of one book. There was also a chosen one there, by the way. On a more serious note, though, I'd like to know what our friend Ferraro had become. Let's see. Well, what are we getting in the end? We're getting intrigued. That's not all, though. Ask Tony what he's discovered. Tony, so what have you found? This here. Well, where did you get it? On the ledge of the fountain, almost in the middle. It's like it wanted to be found. Someone must have forgotten it there, or left it on purpose, or lost it, or chucked it, or Tony is right and the key knows what it wants. I can say one thing for sure, it should be able to open something. Yes, and what about the letters? The letters? I found the letters next to it. And so what do they say? En Romanos. And what's its use to us? The key is shiny and very clean. A cylinder one, not too basic. It will work to make light dance. Oh, what if it opens a treasure chest? When they write our biographies, they'll say, and that's when they unknowingly turn from explorers to treasure hunters. Let me just... I doubt it. No one leaves keys from their treasure vaults next to city fountains. It's stupid to lose important things indeed, such as house keys, passports, medical insurance papers, grandma's pearls, suitcases stuffed with cash. Hold on a minute. I didn't quite think it through. So what now? Are we going to try opening every single door with it? And we can start with that one, which says D. Romano's this and that. Unless we're in a city of namesakes, I say our chances are pretty high. Oh, this door opens. They were collecting all sorts here, or everything of all sorts. They certainly managed to collect a lot of dust. This is an ancient ragman shop. Prehistoric even, you think? In that case, we should definitely look around here. The notice that the shop is up for sale in place of the open close sign. Should anyone be in need as much as in any other case, please do contact Signor Enrico Mancini at the library located at... Did they leave before the dam gave in, so they weren't flooded after all? Apparently so, or they were, but not everyone. It's still weird though, why would they leave the key at the fountain? Hopelessness maybe? Or it wasn't the author of the notice who left the key there? If this text was in a language we didn't know, would we have guessed what it meant? Hush, it's at this very moment when it's best not to analyse any further. First, we'd start figuring out who knows which language and then who used to live where. In the end, we'd arrive at the conclusion that we shouldn't even understand each other by default. And that's it. Behold the famous story of the Tower of Babel, but more surreal about human reflections, a modern Tao, genuine art house. That's kind of complicated. Is art house that bad? Watching it or living in it? One is definitely worse than the other, and it's not always obvious as to which is which. Maybe neither this nor that. Maybe. The art house is the house of art. It's a nice word. I get it now. There's no price to it. To art? Of course, but I suspect you mean the sale notice. I suppose the most honourable Signor Enrico Mancini could have given us some sort of estimate. But alas. Tony, have you found... Just you look at it. A mug with this limb. It's a mug with floral patterns and with tea stains. What do you mean, just you look at it? Tony, this limb is usually called a handle, and it's clearly been broken off before. Ah, then glued back on. They wanted to keep it. They loved it. And lovingly didn't even wash it. Oh, he's feeling happy because they liked it despite the fact it had a crack just like him. Yes, to leave behind, as if they could return and then wash it, and they left the key too. Oh, have tea for the last time, then close the door for the last time. Feels nice. That's just pure fantasy. What's wrong with fantasies? Well, they're not serious. And what if Tony enjoys them? Well, okay then. Tony, do you want to take the mug with you? Yes, can I? Oh, I love him. Who needs those two shirtless posturing gits? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him in his cracked body. Oh, he's so perfect. I love him. I guess so if you want to. I'll tell Dora that you've discovered a collector's passion in you, which is a positive influence on all of us. That's not true. It is for me. I could definitely use some positive influence. Thanks. I'll keep it safe, Iris. What are the chances that I'll spot a useful book just by turning my head? And yet, here we are. The Legend of the Lover's Fountain. What's in it? I don't like it already. There's hardly going to be anything in it but paper and words, or are you worried that the details won't be sufficiently bloody? Not sufficiently appropriate. Preface, introduction, 17th century evil fate, blah blah, some more personal blah blah, and finally the actual legend. Nearly half a book in? What's it about? Hold on. Here's the gist of it. It's all because of this one Giovanni Lorenzo meeting a beautiful girl and falling in love with her. Why am I not surprised? Just what I thought. Falling in love how? I'll tell you now, but remember that that's the author's logic. So then, the stone-hearted parents sent the young man to Rome to pursue education rather than agree to his wedding. It must have been hard for them. The venture wasn't exactly successful. The young man pined away after his home. The institute was enrolled after his home, The institute he was enrolled in demanded more and more each day. And then came the news of his beloved mysteriously disappearing. It is time to create a masterpiece and then rest in peace, figured Giovanni Lorenzo, and fashioned a fountain to commemorate his lost homeland and the only true love. Iris, but what about the girl? Not a single other mention. Apparently our protagonist decided against going out to look for his only true love, or trying to figure out how she even disappeared. It also mentions nothing about how he managed to deliver his masterpiece here. What we are told, though, is that the image of his beloved, the way he saw her when bidding farewell, had forever remained the only light in his long and joyless life. And what does it have to do with love? It's somewhere close by. Must have been in the air. Is it not in the air now? That's very philosophical. I guess it depends on who for. Looks like if the homeland was lost to him, does it mean he never came back? Sorry. Possibly. He lived his successful and joyless life in some sad faraway land and sent the fountain here. Not sure about the moral, though you either hurry up and get married or suffer and create. Maybe he delivered the statue personally still. It's weird to send a gift to your hometown and yet not return here. Grand gestures are good for public image. Maybe he's never even existed and the entire story is made up. There's a handwritten note here that the fountain was renovated and reopened. Yes, it looks kind of new to me. We should put together everything we've learned. We might figure the story out. Looks like we're done here. Do you want to look around more? I'll catch up with you. All right. Well, 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 you spotted something. Quite some time ago. Here. Doesn't it look like it's up for sale? Yes, I guess the shopkeeper here was some lady. For a split second I thought there was someone on the other side of the glass, as if somebody picked up the phone on their side of a line and I heard them sigh, and then they put the phone down. That's the point. What happens if a reflection looks at their reflection? Maybe it's all because of what Chen mentioned about the primary mirror. But then when you're looking into the dark waters, similar things happen sometimes. It's all black, then a flash, and then it's black again. Like in Elaine, she used to spend hours looking at the images flashing in the magic mirror. Yeah, and then she fell in love with one of them. It's so delicate and unusual. Shall we take it? She'd like that. What do you think? I did say that I didn't think it was wrong to take others' personal items. So you're taking it then? Take the mirror. I'm just interested if reflections can see their reflection. Yes, I don't want to leave it here. Good, I don't want to either. Internal accord with self. You've caught up. Why did you fall behind? She was catching up. What? With us? He's incredibly logical and tactful too. Reveal the mirror. I decided to take a mirror. Feels nice. It's shiny and it's so you. What do you mean by so me? It's just like you. Do I feel nice and shiny? Yes, and fuzzy. Okay, thank you, Tony. Something about the library before, wasn't there? Books, tomes, volumes. If only I could take them all with me. Shame we don't have a designated book van. Or maybe even 2 book vans. Sob. I need a book on the secrets and the history of the city. G.L. Ferraro, the biography. We're about to find out the official version of the Fountain Guy's story and get even more mixed up. Or unmixed, though. We might, as long as we learn to ignore the contradictions. Well, us getting the reason some ancient dude set a fountain to his hometown wrong, sure it won't kill anyone. And what if the first mention of the Lover's Fountain created by a sculptor dates back to 1917? It also mentions here a legend from the 17th century about a fountain where lovers could throw a coin and then never separate. Did someone confuse the year and the century? 2 different fountains. Gio Ferraro was born in 1892. Even if he were the most boisterous child, he'd never make it to the 17th century, like physically. However, if the legend is older, he could have used it shamelessly or shamefully, since the outcome is about the same anyway. Oh, nothing else there? Why, sure there is. A tragic love story from the very G.L. Ferraro's younger years. No details though. There certainly are 18 pages detailing his studies, and they are full of praises he received from everyone lucky enough to breathe the same air as him. And an exhaustive list of his works with references to their locations. There wasn't that many, to be honest. And at this, nothing else. Done. Either the standards for writing biographies have seriously evolved since, or G.L. Ferraro is just a bunch of cliches. It's gotten more confusing. Let's assume we're on the right track here. Do I go on? Sitting here on the windowsill as if waiting for someone. Why is there a loop? For some reason, I'm pretty sure that dragonflies are generally not suicidal. I think it's just a pendant. No chain and a snapped wing. Oh, and the numbers are on the belly. Let me guess, does it say 925? Hold on, right, 14.03.1955. I don't get it. It's a birthday or some other important date. If it's the former, the owner of this dragonfly would have been 13 or so when everything went down. Ah, a message. It's here, a message. Riddle my riddle. My pointless riddle. I'm here for a reason. A journal of book accounts, reader cards and decent behaviour. It's open as if the librarian has just stepped out for a minute. Handwriting is all curls and swirls. Feels nice. Many numbers, names, notes. And also, ouch. Judging by all the scribbles and marks, it's a draft of a letter probably. Read. What are you waiting for? What an incredibly elegant handwriting. What an incredibly elegant handwriting. Isn't it just what incredibly elegant handwriting? Where's the "and" coming in? I'm open to being corrected on that, but that does not seem right. There are so many curls and swirls that I only understand about every 1 in 3 words. Can I? Suffered from flooding, expanded with the construction of the dam. There's a word starting with L too. Now curls ago, the Duke, can't read this, threatened to flood it with the citizens. Been going on for, but the river has overflown its steam. It's streambled. I'm afraid it won't hold. The last one left takes a book out, sits in the square all day. Is she saying goodbye? At her age, like an adventure or a disaster, even though her parents found the heart to leave too. But getting all the books out. No, I'm staying in a deserted, with a bunch of keys, in the library without any, crossed out and crossed out again. A lot crossed out. May our fate be... So did he leave in the end? I hope so. Couldn't take the books with him. Was thinking about them a lot. So sad. Maybe he could take a few. There are 2 empty bookshelves over there. Ah, the ones that mattered most. Or the ones he loved most, yes. I'm not too convinced, but I guess it's a good thing if you two are right. Oh my word. It's cute here. In some other company though. Shame. Oops, looks like Dora has... Iris? I know I'm about to sound random, but we don't have to go in there. In certain ideal circumstances, you two will take my word for it and we'll leave now. What? Why? Oh, do you have a bad feeling about it? It's more of a horrible truth. Dora is inside, she's busy, and she won't like it if we interrupt. And no, I mean nothing indecent or I wouldn't have phrased it more to the point. Almost nothing indecent. Shouldn't we try and do the same thing Dora's doing there now? What if it helps us learn something? And this is where my imagination loses it and runs wild. I don't understand. The ultimate mystery of Dora's stockings. We'll learn much more in other places. Let's just go, shall we? All right. Well, Iris, I'm not really picking up on you or anything, but it's kind of strange without any explanation. Might suit Tony just fine, but not me. It would have been good if I got away easily. Fine, Max, we'll do it your way. Listen, there are subjects that we both don't like to talk about, you understand? Strictly speaking, they can be generalised as one. Isn't it reasonable to just avoid such conversations? Let's not then. I might have misunderstood you, but I'm definitely good without the details. Phew, Dora, you owe me a big one. Explore the town with Tony. We got the next achievement. There's a cake. Oh, I'm gonna eat cake with Tony. Let's eat cake with Tony. Done the measurements and packed the samples, so all is ready to go. Group number 3 is about to start on the building and collect equipment and devices. Brilliant. I hope that all that third has told you will provide useful. I hold it in the most certainty it will. Dora, do you mind if I ask you to please introduce everyone from your group? I've heard so much about Tony, but everyone knows Tony. Everyone likes Tony. Of course. This is Iris, and there behind the others is Maximilian. Good day. My name is Fabrizio, and I am a practitioner who is often in charge of various organisational matters, as well as an obscenely polite dude and a former cop. Fab loves details and finer points, so watch yourselves around him. The next thing you know, he's already making you memorise the entire practitioner's unwritten code by heart and conduct yourself strictly according to its prescriptions. Johnny will go through that place and I'll be back shortly. Roger that. Hopefully I'll see you soon, Dora's honourable champions. Are we honourable champions now? Sounds terrible. It's polite though, but above all, terrible. Tony, how did you do? Found anything interesting? Yes. We kinda did, yeah. Looks like it's my cue to tell all. We have found... I would like to listen too, if no one minds. Sure, go on, Iris. We have found pieces of 3 different stories about the fountain, about broken things, and about the city's demise. Any conclusion to your findings? Sort of. It's complicated though. For example, according to the tablet, some G.L. Ferraro gifted the citizens a fountain to forever remember him by. This work of art was fashioned twice, in the 17th century by Giovanni Lorenzo and in 1917 by the aforementioned Ferraro. How is that possible? Different sources suggest different stories. In Ferraro's biography, the old fountain is mentioned merely as a legend. The book that tells the actual legend is conveniently missing the sculptor's last name. However, the initials and the tragic love story both seem to match. Can the note help? Yes, right. Thank you, Tony. We also found some scribbles mentioning that the fountain was at some point renovated and then reopened. Right, and I think that... the legend is lying? The biography is lying. The biography is lying? Something about the biography is sketchy. It's as if they took one story and tried to shove it into another. Tragic and a bit kinky. Iris! Anyway, Ferraro may have had something to do with the fountain's renovation, but he hardly fashioned it himself, and he probably never suffered from unrequited love too. Is it good that he didn't suffer? In some sense. And in what sense is it not good? Some believe that suffering from love is good for you, in the sense that he was a liar. It means that we won't know the real story. Some believe suffering from love is good for you. Provokes personal growth and some such. Can we just have personal growth but no suffering from love? That's an excellent philosophical question, Tony. But isn't love good? Why should we suffer from something good? We shouldn't, but we often end up there anyway. If you binge on cheese rolls, you'll be sad too, despite the fact you love them. And then I'll start making fountains? I think our conversation has strayed somewhere odd. I hope not. We don't have proper storage for them. They won't fit on the bus. Right, enough of this. No, Tony, you won't be making any fountains, and you won't be suffering either. Oh well. Tony wants to make a fountain about cheese rolls. I love him. But what about personal growth then? Anyone else want to say anything? I think this rings true. This dude used a story that was already well hyped. What a neat job. And an ethically questionable one too. Still neat though. Right, so we also have the demise of the city. Looks like there were always a lot of floods here, but then they built a dam. And by the time of the grand finale, the mayor was claiming it would definitely hold. The good news is the citizens had about 3 hours after the dam caved in to leave their homes and flee to safety. Many had left even earlier. But the librarian might have stayed with all his books. The books were missing from the shelves though. I hope he left. There are 2 empty bookshelves in the library. I hope he managed to get some of the books out and himself too. He took what mattered most to him. I'd taken Rika with me. Tony, it is the right thing to do, taking care of those who mean much to you. Not that right, but it's worth it. Yes. The chosen one is the only one who can say yes to both Johnny and Dora at the same time. Well, at the last thing, Tony had found a broken key, and we still managed to open the Ragman shop with. There was a mug with a handle broken off and glued back on there, and a dragonfly pendant with a snapped wing in the library. All the items were left somewhere plain sight. Go on. Tony was the one to find them all. Speaks volumes about him. What does it speak? You can wear a pendant, pour tea into the mug, and unlock a door with a key. They all look useless at first, but only at first. You saw them for what they were. Oh, he smiled and made him smile. That's an interesting theory, Iris. I know. And an interesting Tony. Yes, and a fuzzy Iris. You're fuzzy. And that's all, I guess. I think it's about time I refocused everyone's attention. And I found a few goodies for a few lucky ones here. Dora, the guys will bring the dress to the bus. Take a set of interesting vials and weird substances in a fancy leather case should already be at your camp. And Chen, I've got something for you. Johnny, surely you know her views on these things. I do. But I thought you would like this. Chen is genuine china, delicate and pristine like the first ice. So fragile. Alright, I'm not going to take it with me, but I'll have tea in it here to respect your impulse. Deal. This thing is just totally you. I get it. I'll shut up. By the way, what's up with those pastries? Isn't it about time we got to know them better? Who said pastries? You know the answer to your question, and you're right on time. By the way, Iris, how are you? We found tons of stuff. You're late for the detailed rundown. I might tell you about it later. Let's do the food. Come on. You wanted to ask Takeo about that prescription or invoice from Serena's bag. Totally. It's right on time that you remembered. I mean, I remembered. Do you know what this medication is and how is it used? Unless I'm mistaken, this is neuroleptic. Medications like this are prescribed to treat mental and neurological disorders of various degrees of severity. I'll be damned. Thank you. Can I help you with anything else? No, I've taken up enough of your time as it is. And why did this Fenrir need neuroleptics? To treat some condition? Which condition exactly, and what does it have to do with Serena? I don't know. How about we switch to food for now? It's pastries time. Who should I join? Roy, Third, and Johnny. Where did Chloe go, I wonder? There's also Dora and Maximilian. By the looks of it, he's in the middle of getting a piece of Dora's mind. How about Chen, Taker, and Tony then? Yes! If only my name were Tyrus, then I wouldn't even need to think it over. A lame joke. Yeah, it wasn't my best. And the final option is a loud group of lesser known people. There's candy and a lot of confusing words. I don't want that. Make up your mind, will you? Pastries won't eat themselves, and you still have to browse and pick. Alright. We are sticking with Tony. Do you mind? Of course we do not. Have a seat. Inaudible whisper. Inaudible whisper. Look how tiny those cakes are. They're so small. They're so little. Inaudible whisper again. Oh. Where'd he go? Tony up and left with all the desserts. Should I be worried? Just wait a couple of minutes, please. I've got a plan, Iris. Does the plan involve making me feel awkward? Because it's almost working. Okay. He made them bigger? Here you go. Whoa. Tony says he is certain he can guess which dessert you will like most of all. The tastiest one. As in the dessert that Tony would have picked himself. Jen and I have also expressed our preference. To maintain experimental integrity, we'll refrain from any hints, certainly any direct indications. And to maintain the ethical side, we will of course wrap up the experiment altogether in case you do not want to take part in it. Do I need to try all the desserts and pick one I like the most? Yes, doesn't matter in which order you go. Count me in. So Iris, you try one, make up your mind, and then take a sip of water from the glass and move on to the next option. All clear? This is going to be the most profound dessert sampling of my life. Uh-huh. Oh, look at Tony. Oh. Tony, you cannot put pressure on the participants of the experiment. If you continue staring at Iris like this, she might feel uncomfortable, and that will prevent her from tasting everything properly. No, I like it. I like that he's looking like that. I got it. Sorry, Iris. No, I liked it. So what have we here? Strawberry ice cream, a panna cotta with chocolate drizzle, cream roll, and a tiramisu. Let's get it started. I thought I got to choose the order. Your verdict? I'm sure that Tony picked the ice cream and Takeo went for tiramisu. Chen chose the panna cotta, I guess. I could join one of them or just be honest about my pick. Tony definitely must have preferred the one with the strawberries, but your analysis implies that no one likes cream rolls. Guess we're about to find out. The dessert I like most is there. Definitely not strawberry ice cream. I don't really like tiramisu. Panna cotta with chocolate drizzle cream roll. The cream roll looks like it's got peas in it. And is the cream roll fresh cream or sickly cream? I'm going with panna cotta and chocolate drizzle. Tego, you were right. Iris likes chocolate things. And I was wrong. I assumed that Chen was the one to pick the panna cotta. She could have been, but she does not like chocolate mousse. Selling out my secrets, are you? Let me correct myself. Iris, it was merely my assumption. I am not sure if orange sauce would work better here. No, I'm not sure, but I know for sure. Knowing what our faction leader likes is my duty. Any change to your taste can affect your state and hence everyone else around you too. Yeah, that's the cream roll. That looks like peas. That looks like peas. It's probably pistachios. But because it looks like a pancake or an omelette. Do you know what? That's what it is. It looks like an omelette rolled around mash and peas. Of those desserts, as long as the cream is fresh and not sweet, it probably would be the cream roll for me. But because of how it doesn't look appetizing in that art, it's a panna cotta with chocolate drizzle. I've got no counter argument for that. Takeo, did you also conduct an experiment? Many of them. You could say that I had drawn up a chart of Chen's taste preferences and am now quite good at forecasting the results of any further experiments. I need to do a chart for Iris. He's smiling! Getting scared here. Don't worry, Iris, it will not hurt. Are you going to just watch me whenever I eat, day and night? Not quite. We will be sampling your taste preferences during randomly selected meals. If you see anyone staring intently while you do eat, do not think too much of it. It is all in the name of silence. Iris, they make each other laugh. They like it that way. But we had a deal that we would only experiment this one time. Thank you, Tony. That's a relief. Savour all the flavours in town. So that's what you get for choosing Tony. Inspire Tony to do something extraordinary. Oh, I love Tony. I want all the Tony achievements. All the Tony achievements. All the Tony achievements. That woman has a perfect figure. Look at her. Perfectly flat stomach. Bust. I'm jealous of that woman in the background. So tell me, Takeo, do you officially approve of experiments involving pastries as a doctor? Not always, but today my faction leader officially gave me the green light. Let me take it away. You don't mind, do you? No, of course not. Chen, are you upset because you came up with the experiment? It isn't bad, though. It's good. Yes, Tony, it's all good. Iris, I have to confess, it was me all along. Tony wanted to share with you all the tastiest things he had found here, and I got this curious idea in my head. An experiment. It's a good word. A great one. You seem to affect each other oddly. Tasty and exciting. I like it. And do you? I'd say yes. I do, Tony. It was fun. Good. I've decided that I like experiments and when Iris likes food and to look for stories. I'll become a scientist and will be feeding Iris. Or if Iris doesn't want you to feed her, so what are those stories in your plan? Let's say I agree. And where are those stories in your plan? Stories are everywhere. Can look for them and tell them. Iris, do you want me to tell you a story and Chen and Takeo? Go on then. I figured out why I keep opening the bus window. It stresses Dora out. Yes, but I didn't know why I kept doing it anyway. Tell us, Tony. I was cold, but I didn't feel it. And then Rika started coming and I got warmer, but I would wake up and Rika wasn't there. I thought I'd imagined it. Then she bought me a beanie. I wake up, Rika isn't there, but the beanie is. Therefore, Rika is real. I think, what if Rika is cold, but I've got her beanie? I get worried. When Rika comes again, I am not asleep and I close the window. And then Rika says, we sit together and I give her food to try. I want her to keep warm. She eats a bit. Strawberries too, even though everyone says she shouldn't. And then Rika disappears even though the window is closed. I get sad and fall asleep, and then I wake up here. I don't think Rika knows about the expedition, but I keep opening the window just in case. Maybe she'll come again sometime. Oh, that is a good story, Tony. Thank you for sharing it with us. This is actually very interesting in terms of symbolism. All the nicest things happen when you are not expecting them. For example, Rika used to come through the window and knock the door. And yes, Iris was inside the bus right away. Praise his story. Tony, you've told us a very beautiful story of love. It's also a little sad. Is it bad? No, Tony, good stories do not always have to be cheerful. Ah, yes, Iris likes it after all. Can I have some ice cream? Of course, Tony, let's go get some. She's looking into the mirror. What happens if a reflection looks at a reflection? What happens if a reflection looks at a reflection? Haven't written about the first discovered land, the second encounter with Roy, and all the rest. Been super busy. Something like busy, 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 busy. Admittedly, I just couldn't be bothered. Make yourself useful, says Dora. Wonder if she means anything apart from get over it and contemplate the window, Iris. Maybe scribbling in your diary. Anyway, hi there, dear diary. I'd like to complain the curator won't let me open doors while we're on the move. It's dangerous to perform large-scale transformations in non-stationary objects and all that. On our regular stops we train, so poor little Iris doesn't get a chance to dig for more information. Sob. Ugh, dull. What else? Yes, a lot has happened. Ah, is this how you do diaries? I've lost my knack and I don't even want to go over everything in my head in detail. I won't. Don't want to. How about writing out the most important stuff? People and things that matter most. The whole who to help gear up thing conversations, or just an impression about someone. These are all personal. While looking for items in the investigation, all tasks count as events. It's going to be great. Apparently there's a devout fan of ordering and listing things living in my head rent-free. And there is no such point as whining in our list, by the way. Wine. Alright. The most important person from the communication point of view is Tony, the chosen one. Dora keeps taking Tony to the scientist while Tony himself looks for stories and clearly enjoys Chen and Teiko's company. He really cares about this Rika. He told us about Rika that used to visit him through the window. I have a feeling that the shards of Tony's personality are trying to come together around something important. Who is Rika? Should ask him when there's a chance. Now regarding the most important event, it will have to be the discovery of the new land. Looking for stories. It's amusing to jump to conclusions without having the full picture at hand. Tony sure likes it. Everyone always jumps to conclusions without the full picture at hand. I didn't jump anywhere. I merely offered my guesses. No conclusions, by the way, strictly guesses. Do they look like conclusions? Well, they are still guesses. If we had more information, we'd guess something entirely different. Such as the librarian definitely taking away his books on unicorns with him. Photo illustrated. Phew, and now I'm done. The whole conclusion thing can be fun. Certainly better than staring into the void through the window. Actually, there's something else. The mirror. I found it in the ragman shop and took it with me. Sometimes it looks as if there's someone on the other side of the glass lurking, as if they are watching me from there, and as soon as I'm spotted, they sort of pull the curtain and hide. The careful Iris would have told Dora, just in case. It's good that Iris isn't careful then. Setting the mysticism aside, it looks like someone has been impressed by Chen's story about the primary mirror that can reflect reflections. And in Elaine, Serena's character was always looking in the mirror. And then she stopped to be stricken by a curse. So poor Iris let her imagination run all wild. To sum it up, Iris likes the mirror very much. And she has no desire whatsoever to show her find to the curator. Instead, she'd like to figure out on her own what's wrong with the mirror, or with me. Degree of common sense, the ultimate protagonist of a horror movie, adjusted for the fact that there is no cursed objects in this world, as far as I know. Anyway, I'm certainly not acting on it now. Maybe later. Luckily, we've gone a long way ahead of us. I might change my mind or not. And for now, I'd like to wrap all this writing for today. I hope something diary-worthy is about to happen. Oops. Everyone get back behind the bus and stay there. Hurry. Listen to me. Call on third. I don't want to hurt Tony. Can I do a save? Call on third. Cal on third. Okay. What happens if I call on Tony? Oh, it doesn't let me. Okay. So it's giving me the illusion of making a choice, but I can't. Third. You should tie our bus and the falling one with a rope, Hector. Make a patch over the crack. I can't. Oh, it's the illusion of choice. Help rope the buses together. It's the illusion of choice. Let's go on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Phew. Push her away. Dora. Oh my. Was it about to land straight on my head? Breathe out, newbies. We'll take it from here. Fell asleep, so you lot listen carefully. I asked you not to intervene because I was certain you were not ready, but I must admit I could have paid dearly for that hurtling box. Thank you, Iris. I did lose my focus, and it would have probably been better to try and grab the box, even though it's probably heavy. In any case, great reaction. Well done. Third, you did a great job too. Oh, is Tony sleeping in bed? The idea of roping the buses together was reasonable, quite up the practitioner's alley. It's all because I'm a fan of ropes. Iris! Ouch, it did sound a bit odd. Anyway, the practitioners, they've recognised your input. Chloe even says you two are going to go places. You've done a great job, better than during practice. Well done. To sum it up then, Iris's intervention helped me and didn't cause any serious damage overall. Should I ask you again to do something, I hope you will be prepared to obey. And now we should all follow Tony's example and get some rest. It was one heck of a night. Not sure about getting that rest. I've got somewhere else to attend to. Hey, inner voice, are you there? Hello? You're awfully quiet for someone who tries to control me. I don't try. I wanted to help. Which is why we have a problem. You're my inner voice and I talk to you, even argue with you sometimes. That's quite normal. But when you tell me what you do, when you tell me what do you and then what? When you tell me what do you and then even stop me from doing what I think, am I having a brain fart? But when you tell me what do you and then even stop me from doing what I think is better. I'm not insane. That's not English, right? What is that? I can't even read it. That hurts my brain. But it did work out all right, didn't it? It did, yes. But it could have well gone badly. What's next? Will you take on making decisions for me and then make a mistake by accident? Or will you just borrow my body? You know, that's a classic thriller right there. I'm standing over somebody's still warm body, my arms bloody up to the elbows, and I remember nothing. Bloody up to the elbows? What's with all the exaggeration? Here's a question, Iris. Why did you do that? You know, when the bus sunk into the road. What did my honest answer sound like? Exactly. The voices told me to. I knew what the most reasonable thing to do was. As you can see, no one was hurt in the end. Are you suggesting that we get back into this discussion when someone is hurt? Stop it. I meant well. It turned out all right, and you're blowing this way out of proportion, like it's the end of the world. Am I now? And by the way, where does this determination of yours to enforce good come from? Someone bit you? Someone kind? Strong and not too smart? You may think whatever you want. Medical trivia out of nowhere, the crack, the weird nightmares, the desire to stare into the mirror all the time, and now this, a power-hungry inner voice. I'm any specialist prize find. I'm not power-hungry, I wanted to help, and you've just listed a number of unrelated events. Or related, and you're just smooth-talking me. You're joking right now, aren't you? Maybe you should see a specialist indeed. Of course I'm joking, or not just as much. I'll think about seeing a doctor. Meanwhile, why are you doing it again? I don't know, guess I'm hoping to see her for at least a moment. I know it's stupid, but sometimes it seems like there's something in there. It's a touch unhealthy. Like we've already discussed, I'd make a great find for a therapist. We've jumped from 12 to 21.